Alright, let's get started. Just setting up the chat real quick. Always seems to want to give me a little bit of issue. Let's test our audio real quick. Yep, that works. Okay. Okay, so we move without chat again. I can read your comments on my side computer monitor, that is. Okay, let's get going. So today we're going to continue on with our agility grind. We're going to try to get to level 75. Looks like RuneScape has been updated. Please restart your client. Today is a Wednesday. I believe those are the days that yeah, let's just get rid of chat. Hold off on having chat on the screen. Alright, so we're launching RuneScape. Looks like we have a new poll out. Gridmaster rewards. Some quest journal updates possibly. I guess I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. Okay. It's kind of cool that they're starting to try to emulate RuneLite, but there is RuneLite, so I'm not sure if it's very needed, unless they want, you know, full control over the system. So Democracy got an upgrade. Yeah, I don't really care. Okay. Sometimes these computers are just a little too smart for me. Let's get on with the stream then. Oh. I'm on the wrong account, guys. Oops. Gandalf the guy. That's my main account. Looks like I have to switch over to FailNOutloud. So it's weird because I wasn't playing on that account, but I had my client open for so long that, you know, what I did 3 or so days ago overrode the last 3 days of the account that I was playing because it never reloaded the user. So yeah, we tried out the worm agility course. It was okay. It's more AFK, more chill. But I find this to be more relaxing, actually. And that might sound contradictory, but I see this as slightly more active, right? And the other one, you're go into observation mode. So you have to switch between observing waiting, being patient, and then clicking, which is all fine. But in this one, it's kind of more immediate, and you're just kind of clicking the next one. So you're kind of only in one mode. And that's just, you just kind of get into this flow where you're clicking. And so that staying in one mode, I think, helps me keep my brain on track. Whereas if I'm pure AFK, yeah, my brain can just stay on track where it needs to go. But if I'm AFK but then have to click every 15 seconds or 5 seconds or 10 seconds, whatever it was, kind of disrupts my flow of thought, because I'm not really doing one thing. I'm doing waiting and clicking. Now, eventually, with that course, I might get used to it, and I won't be observing as much. I would just kind of know when I'm done. But because it's so long and I'm not sure exactly when my character has access to move, and I'm not just in an animation, it causes me to pay attention and try to time it. And with this, it's kind of very quick and immediate, and just kind of click onto the next one. It's very intuitive, and maybe it's because I've run this course many times. It's interesting. I'm getting feed from both. I wonder if that was I wonder if my chat's fixed now. Let's try to look. Let's go testing. So I just saw a sign that it might be working better than before. I messed with some settings. So there's testing, and then it comes up on my YouTube, and then I go testing, and YouTube doesn't send it. But at least we have Kick, which we had before, but you know, the bots and scammers seem to run that town for the time being. I would have to get a moderator to go through. But what is nice is my chats are connected now, so I don't have to monitor both of them. I can just have one of them open and the other one open but hidden in the background, so I don't have to observe it, and it will notify me when comment comes. So that's kind of cool. And we'll go ahead and hide this. I wish it would delete when I press delete, but doesn't seem to do that. We'll have to look into what we can do. Maybe turn the, there's a timer on it. I think I set it to 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it was. – 2 or 3 minutes, and it will automatically clear all. Well, not all. Every message has a 2 minute, 3 minute timer, and when that is up, it will get removed. So if someone spams or something, after 2 or 3 minutes, they get removed. But I don't want that to clutter my screen. I don't think that's good for the viewing experience. So, no chat till I figure it out. You know, maybe I need a few regulars to help moderate chat. And that might make the experience go a little better, but until then, I don't want to put it on my screen if I'm going to have to constantly be deleting. Alright, looks like we're coming up on a level. We're going to do this to 60, and then we'll make our way to Camelot. We have an amylase pack, which is maybe less than 10. Is my cat out? Do I have a cat? I don't know. Let's go check a bank. See if... Oh, there he is. Cheeky guy. Can't be hiding on me like that. Parent will go crazy. Trying to cost me some death runes. So yeah, we might, at level 62, we might go back to the Worm Agility course. At the advanced stage, it's going to be more XP at that point, and it might be better than the Sears course. The Sears course, the online estimated XP per hour, marks per hour, I believe assumes that you have infinite run and that you're using stamina pots. So we don't have that. We're not going to do that. So we will continue on back to the Worm Agility. At that point, I will likely have full Graceful. And if not, maybe we stay in Sears just a tiny bit longer. So yeah. So this is why we went and got the Ardougne cape, for many reasons, right? But so that while I'm skilling, I'm getting 200 death runes, which is 30k Grand Exchange equivalents. So that means, you know, every hour I'm getting 10k for free for doing nothing, essentially. So it's not that much, but it is something. And for an Ironman, death runes are worth more than 140. I have to go, I believe, to the wilderness and buy them for, I think, 240 coins or something like that. And I think they might even be more. I think that's law runes that are 240. Death runes might be like 320, but I'm completely making that up. So the actual value to our account is more than 30k. And it's a nice little ritual. You get a little friendly follower. Annoying enough to not be a Disney animal. You know? Let me try to explain that a little better. When I look into the world, I see certain patterns and such, and it's what I would call the Disneyfication of the natural world, where animals are talking and they have human emotion. And yeah, I do think animals have more emotion than just fear and survival. That I think most animals can be turned into pets. You know, just observing people getting squirrels, raccoons, and, you know. And so a pet is just really a child, is what I would call it. is that you're training an animal to be your child, essentially. And yeah, maybe certain animals are more docile than others, maybe not. And I think pets are fine, but it depends. It's just like this animal is being stripped from its call to nature, I would call it, call to adventure, whatever you want to say, right? You're kind of, domesticating it, right? It's, I'm all for pets, I enjoy pets. What I'm trying to say, though, is Disneyfying it, not recognizing it as a living being that can survive on its own. You're kind of turning this into like a weaker animal and making it very, very docile and loving and all these things, and it's, you're kind of stripping of it of its nature. And so I like dogs, I like cats, but I try to let them have a little bit of their inner nature when I can, but if they act up, then you gotta kind of set the standards. But yeah, the Disneyfication of animals is what I'm trying to Okay, I guess what I notice, there's a couple things I'm noticing, so I'm trying to get it all on paper and then trying to make sense of it. So right now it doesn't make full sense of what I'm saying, but it's in there. That when I look at people, it seems like they don't understand their pet. That they're not actually observing it at its will, and its natural side, it's what it wants to do. I'm not saying to fully give it that allowance. I wouldn't be very discerning to let it scratch all your furniture up and have free reign. But I just think people are not very good at reading the emotion of an animal, like petting it and like cornering them and giving them, freedom to do what they like to a certain extent. And I guess everyone has their exact line on what that means. And so I think my main problem that I'm trying to get to is that people force their need to feel like they're loving and everything onto their animals sometimes. It's kind of like they only encourage the animal to be their pet and to be all cuddly and loving and all that kind of stuff, but they don't let the animal do what it really wants to do more, which I think is more free reign and a little bit more of its wild side and to express its curiosity and play. Whereas when I watch people with animals, it's often like they're encouraging it to be cute rather than, letting it explore and learn on its own and developing somewhat of its own will. One that, you have to have a level of discernment to be firm with the animal on what it can and can't do. But kitten has ran off. Oh my. I got so distracted talking about pets that I wasn't paying attention to my own, huh? I guess I let it have too much of its own will there and noticed that I wasn't feeding it or caring for it, and she took off, eh? Well, I think we just got that cat, so we're not too stressed. We'll go back to Barak, get another one after this lap. And we'll be on our way. So we have to walk all the way back here. It's fine. Would be nice to get to 37 magic to get here back and forth pretty quick. I think we do have teleport tab, but maybe we save that for a rainy day. There's probably a quest that's in Falador and we might be off in who knows where at that point. So we have our money on us. Let's just go ahead. Teleport out. And so we're getting pretty low on Chronicles. Only one left. Looks like we have a decent cash flow at this point, 7K. So while we're on this side of town, might be wise to go buy some law runes. I'm pretty sure Varrock doesn't sell them. I'm pretty sure Port Sarim doesn't sell them. Or no, maybe they do. Let's just double check. Law rune. For some reason I feel like I have to go to the wilderness, but I think that is misguided. So let's just double check. Law runes. We can buy them at... Here, I guess I need to start just showing people what I'm looking at. So, as you can see, we have to go to the wilderness. This is all quest locked. These ones are more expensive and I don't feel like doing that. And these ones are further away and quest locked. Oops. So we're gonna go head up to the wilderness and give us some, go get us a decent amount of decent amount of law runes so that we can teleport. So teleport has a few advantages over Chronicles, and it has a few disadvantages obviously too. So the advantages are you get free XP, and it puts you right in the middle of town. It's typically the better spot. Right here, that's even slightly closer to Gertrude, and there's a bank in between, and you're more connected to the rest of the world. And the disadvantages are, well, they cost a little bit more money, and if you have Mahogany Homes project, I think it's, I'm trying to think of which building it is. There's a few of them down here, I think, that it's quicker from here. And you also can use this shortcut to get to Drainer super quick, and to get to the south side of Falador super quick. Let's not lose our cat right away, so we have a tan brown cat now. Very cool. Let's get a knife. I think it's, yeah, there it is. Cool. Very suspicious. He didn't look like a PKer to me. He'll take the bait. Let's just go for it. Looks like he hopped. Oh, there he is. Looks like he hopped now. But I guess he was my little scout. Oh, there he is. It would be a massive loss if we died now, you know. I'm guessing he hopped. His armor was interesting. I don't know what he could possibly be doing. It looked like he was wearing dragon armor and rune full helm, and didn't really look like the setup I would recommend. So the value, I'll read it off, it's 240. And death rune while we're here is 180, so they're actually a little cheaper. So I was wondering what they were before. I thought maybe they were like 320 or something crazy like that, but much more affordable. So let's just buy 10. And we'll buy 5 more. And that should cover us for a while. That's 15 cats. Get our fit back on. I guess we're done with our fancy boots. We have graceful boots on now. I guess that shall do. And looks like we're going to be a staff enjoyer. And that means we should have our fire runes on us. It would be very nice to have level 37 and be able to teleport to Falador, but it's not our current state. So let's hurry on back up to some agility. So we're a new Ironman. We have a few hours under us now, and eventually we're no longer going to be a new Ironman, so we do some push-ups. Do some jumping jacks. Alright, let's be on with it. Looks like this guy's the cousin of the let's see, do we want to rock some camo now? I don't know if that's quite our fit. Some cool standing stones, huh? I don't know what witchcraft they're practicing out there, but for some reason I didn't have my cat overlay up. So let's go interact, guess age. Maybe it broke once that new update came. Let's see, cat maybe? Kitten maybe? Let's try kitten. No. Kitten tracker. Plugin is incompatible with authors, update, blah blah blah. Well, that explains why we lost our pet earlier, as we were over reliant upon the game on this plugin that no longer works. So we'll just have to pay a little bit more attention then. When he starts crying, we'll just answer his calls. We'll see if I have the attention span to do that. You know, I can kind of get lost in my thoughts and lost in the conversation a little bit sometimes, and not want to be interrupted, so I'll just click through the kitten. But that's okay. So earlier I was talking about what I would call the Disneyfication of animals into our world, and how we're kind of we project our I think we project our cultural values kind of on our animals, and so we kind of force pets to be pets. And so I kind of contrasted that with, you know, we reward pets for doing cute things, all these Disney little cutesy BS, right? Instead of like letting the dogs run free a little bit more, taking them out to the woods, letting them go smell stuff, letting them mark some territory. And I think pets are kind of a reflection of worldview, and the issues that your pets will run into are the same issues that the world will run into. That's you make your pets docile. They can't go outside. If they go outside, they're gonna run into other cats, the ability to inflict harm. So if they're all lovey-dovey and they have no paws, no fangs, no what's the word I'm looking for? Claws, I guess. If they don't have claws, they don't know how to use them. They don't know how to make others respect them, and then they also don't understand boundaries as much and how to respect others. And so the Disneyfication of animals, the Disneyfication of humans is all a lost touch to true connection to the world. We have an idea of what all these things are now, rather than an observation of how things are. And that's not to say you shouldn't cuddle with your pet and pet them and all that kind of stuff. I think that's good. But it's to let them run free a little bit more. Let them do their own thing a little bit more. And that's what we're kind of doing now. Running free a little bit. I'm not thinking about this course, I'm just kind of clicking the next thing, and I'm not getting distracted. Whereas when I was doing the worm course, there was a lot of waiting, a little bit of uncertainty of when the character is all set, gets his XP. It was disrupting my my flow a little bit, and to me, agility is the meditation or mindfulness of RuneScape. Kind of, they tell you to focus on your breath and focus on this, whatever. Now you can just focus on clicking. And so if you just relax, click next, you can kind of observe how it's all flowing. And so at the worm course, you're kind of required a little bit more. Yes, it was more AFK, less time to actually click, but you have to wait and then click. Whereas this, you're always clicking, you see your guy enter their animation and you're already clicking the next. So I find this to be much easier to do, to not have to concentrate on the game as much and just instead relax and communicate with chat. Let's check this cat out. Oh, I didn't bring any cat food, huh? My plugin disappeared because of the new update today. And so we're gonna have to preemptively feed and pet them sometimes if it feels like we haven't done it in a while. And at the times when he communicates, we will also, at that point, do as he demands. I think this is going pretty quick. We're almost at 53. And so yeah, I see agility as one of the best skills to train early upon entering RuneScape for multiple reasons. One, it's an opportunity cost type of thing that you're going to have to train to at least 70 for Song of the Elves. Some shortcuts that are convenient, and the earlier upon you do it, the more access to shortcuts, the more run energy you will have. You can unlock graceful early. So to me it just makes a lot of sense just to get it knocked out. Later on in the game it's less useful. You'll have agility potions, stamina pots, whatever else, where maybe agility's not that important. And you'll kind of not want to train agility later on because you're going to want to go for your bofa, you're going to want to go for your unlocks, your fangs, and so you could train agility or you can try and get your fang. And well, I think most of the time I'll say, let's just go get my fang. And I don't feel like doing that. So if you knock it out early, you never have to think about it again, and you get to reap all the benefits that having agility will grant you. That will grant you more run energy, the entire account, grant you graceful, grant you shortcuts. And so it's slowing down at the start of an account to make the rest of the account zoom on ahead. It's about making the investments early to pay off later, instead of going for the instant gratification that part of me with this account wanted to just rush the wilderness, get off Tutorial Island, run straight up, get some steel plate bodies, go sell them, get some runes, go kill lava dragons, get my prayer up to 43, get my magic up to 50, probably 50 something, who knows. And then I could have made my way to this wilderness slayer in general at that point, and probably could have done some crazy archaeologist, got a power amulet, got some, I think he drops red D hide, got rune crossbow, and we could have been PVMing already. But instead I wanted to make the choices to set this account up as not as efficient as possible, but to make the easy choices for long-term investments. So things like getting the Ardougne cloak as the first goal, to raise kittens to turn into death runes while you just skill, to go train agility for multiple reasons, shortcuts, increase stamina while we don't have the best ways to transport, the graceful outfit. They updated agility to make it a little bit more forgiving in the early game, and there's definitely a question of if graceful's fully needed, but I've done some farm runs on my other account, and before I unlocked certain spells and certain quicker access, closer proximity to the actual herb patches, I would have to stop and grab 1 or 2 energy pots and sip them as I ran, right? And so yeah, graceful still serves a purpose for herb runs. I think it's good for questing. I think it's good for early account shenanigans, because we don't really have quick access. These law runes cost money and we don't have money, so we don't have levels, we don't have jewelry. So to me, agility just makes sense to be the foundational skill. Agility, magic, prayer. That's kind of the backbone of how I'm going to play this. And then after that, we're going to go for ranged next as our main focus. Ranged and Slayer. We'll be doing Wilderness Slayer, trying to get rev weapons, and I think we're going to have to focus on getting some blocks for our Wilderness Slayer. It'd be very nice to get 150 quest points to block 3 NPCs. I kind of did some quick calculations, and I saw that black demons, greater demons, and hellhounds had the... So all I did was I looked at the chart, I copied it into Excel, I modified it to figure out the average amount of a task that you have to kill. I took the lowest XP that it offered to signify its health, that the more XP you get per kill, the higher the health is typically. And I used that as a proxy for how much time is needed for each kill. And then I multiplied that by the weight, how often Christilla will give that task. And so using those 3 numbers, I was able to kind of guesstimate which tasks are going to take the longest to complete. And so if my goal is to get the rev weapons, I'm going to want to get rid of the tasks that are going to take me the most time and the biggest distractions away from that goal. So I believe rev weapons are, and doing revenants in general, is going to outprofit anything else. And even if we don't care about profit, just the actual upgrades that we're here doing the Wilderness Slayer for, well, we want to maximize our time doing them. And so to do that, it would be very, very, very nice to block the 3 biggest time sinks in Wilderness. And those are Black Demons, Greater Demons, and Hellhounds. And that would require 150 quest points. And so I'm not sure if I will go for 150 quest points right at the start, but I'll go for at least 50 and block black demons. And then I might do some Wilderness Slayer, and if I get a Hellhound task or I get a Greater Demon task, I don't feel like doing it and I have the points to block it, well, we might do a little bit of questing. So that's kind of the game plan. And that's where we'll go with it. So that's our eventual goal. But before then, I want to set this account up to give the most reward with the least input. And so to me, raising cats made a lot of sense. Doing agility made a lot of sense. Agility is going to grant us a moneymaker. That moneymaker is going to make it so that I can afford to spend money in Throne of Miscellanea, managing Miscellanea, and reap free herbs and free bird nests. And then it will also pay for my deaths in the Rev Caves, because I'm going to have a 100 grand to go into the Rev Caves. I believe that's the number. And yeah, you'll make it back at Rev Caves, but if you die early and don't have money to fall back onto, well, you're gonna have to leave the Rev Caves and find another moneymaker just to get back. And if you come back and you get knocked out, and you come back and you get knocked out, it just becomes a situation that is going to promote me to not want to do Rev Caves and demotivate me to do the account. And I think wisdom is to recognize your patterns, your motivations, and what can kind of cause you to do certain things, right? And yes, you don't let your circumstances dictate what you're going to do. You can overcome those, feelings, right? And I will do that, and I do that. But I think the greater wisdom is recognizing that you can set up your environment and you can do things preemptively to make choices easier and set yourself up for success that way. So we're doing agility to make starter money. We're doing agility to get to level 75 so that we can do Rev Cave escapes. Give myself a better chance to escape PKers. Get full graceful for the whole entire account. Make it so that we can reap the benefits of a necessary reap the benefits of a necessary grind from day one. We could wait until later on in the account and do agility, but at that point, this cat's meowing at me. I don't like it. Yeah, if we postpone agility, it would be a call to enter into instant gratification to me, because we're gonna have to get our agility up. And the benefits later of having agility is just for the requirements that we might need it for, right? And so since we're gonna do that, it's more beneficial at the start of the account to get it done, get it over with, so that we can reap the benefits of having high agility. That means having more running more when otherwise we'd have to walk, getting the full graceful, stacking amulets up, getting access to vital shortcuts. All of this building to make the rest of the account go smooth. And so that's what we're aiming for here. I have some other grinds that I want to do. I'm kind of tempted to skip Herblore, not worry about it, and just move on with my life. I think you can get away without doing Herblore. We have some updates to the game from Hunter. I'm gonna pull them up in a second, maybe at the end of this lap. Pull them up. But there's these Hunter, I don't know if they're called Hunter rations or Hunter mixes or something like that. And they're little 2-dose potions, basically, of butterflies that you catch in these jars. And, you know, early level 1, you get to basically have a super strength. Or super, sorry, I misspoke. You get a super attack. And you get a super defense. You get one that will heal you up 15. You get a super defense, attack, strength. I think it goes defense, attack, hit points, strength. And there's also a super restore that gives you health. That maybe is before the super strength, maybe, in terms of progression. And then after that, you get free prayer pots, basically. So instead of going out and trying to get Renard seeds and trying to get herbs to sustain my prayer pot needs, well, if we get our Hunter up, we'll have access to a much quicker way of getting prayer restoration. And I think those are going to carry the mid game quite a bit. You know, using prayer pots at barrows just doesn't feel like doesn't feel as worth it to me, having to go out of my way and do herb runs and farm runs. I'm okay not doing that. Instead, we're going to go Hunter, because Hunter has other benefits. One, it will get me closer to 70 prayer when we do go for that one day. It's going to get a ton of hides, ton of meat, ton of, you know, so that's just healing, right? We're going to have decent options for that. But the biggest reason, there's two big reasons, but the biggest is the Sunlight Crossbow, I think it's called. Sunlight Crossbow. And with that, you're going to out DPS rune arrows. And I think even Amethyst, but maybe it's pretty close with Amethyst. And that's going to be huge, because we can save our rune arrows so that we don't have to go get our mining up, get our crafting up to go make amethyst arrows. And with those rune arrows that we're going to bank, we can then use the Venenator bow one day and speed run some Slayer, and we can get the Scorching bow one day and let us do more PVM, you know? So we'll use rune arrows to kill tormented demons, the Scorching bow to get 2 more synapses to make our Ember Light and to make our Purging Staff. At that point, you know, we'd also start doing Demonic Gorillas. And so having all those rune arrows with the Scorching bow, with the Venenator bow, it's going to make it so we don't have to get our mining up to a ridiculous level to make amethyst arrows. And that's all because we made the choice early to do Hunter, to get us access to a superior weapon than the magic shortbow. And that, of course, is the Sunlight Crossbow, I think it's called. Let's just look at the name instead of just guessing at what it's called. So crossbows, Sunlight's Hunter crossbow. Sunlight Hunter's crossbow. Very cool. And that's at 74 fletching. And so we're also going to do fletching. That's going to be our third skilling grind. So we're going to do agility. We're going to go into wood cutting and fletching. And then we're going to go into hunter. And those are going to be the 3 skills that we focus on, while we also do Wilderness Slayer. And so then I think fletching's going to be a fun one. We have the new minigame, Fail Totems. I've never done them, but I think it's looks like it's a cool little addition to the game. Make fletching more bearable. We're going to get a ton of logs from managing Miscellanea. Maybe not right away, but eventually, right? And with all those logs, we're going to have the upgraded knife, right? With that upgraded knife, we then can make unstrung maple longbows and do more Fail Totems with those, right? Reap more benefits. With that, you get more arrows. So to me, it just makes a lot of sense to not rush things. Kind of do them all in their proper time. And so that starts with a pretty long agility grind, and that's fine with me. We'll get to where we're getting to when we get there, right? That's part of the journey. It's not rushing to the end. But this is not lost time in the long run. This is gaining us time. And so to have the comfort to make choices is what I would call courageous comfort, which is what this account name is. My YouTube account. My Kick account. My social media handle, I guess people would call it. I'm trying to use the lingo of the day. Or is that already outdated? But regardless, so that's my new identity, I suppose. The identity I'm taking on, the identity I believe I have, is courageous comfort. And that's it can be defined many ways, but that's one way I define it. Is to make the choices that make me feel stronger, basically. And when you get stronger, you get more comfortable, I find. And if you have to prove your strength, I feel like that typically ends up being more bravado than it is confidence. So that's the name of my account, Courageous Comfort, for YouTube and Kick and everything else. And this current account's name, my actual RuneScape account, is FailNOutloud. And that's how I'm going to demonstrate courageous comfort. And that's the comfort to be discerning, to not rush into things, to enjoy the journey. And when the journey asks for a struggle, we don't back down from it. So it's courageous comfort. It's not just comfort, it's not just courage. It's to look at what we need to do, organize it intelligibly, and do it. So one rooftop at a time, we're getting closer and closer to our goal. It kind of reminds me of hiking. I don't know if anyone out there likes to hike, but sometimes you look in the distance and you're like, it's not doubt, but you look and you're like, well, that looks kind of far away. And like, wow, how do I even get up there? And well, you have the confidence because there's a trail and other people have done it, right? So there's no question of like, there's no doubt ever seeping in, right? It's just like this amazement of looking up and seeing something in the distance, you know, like, oh, that's the eventual goal of the hike, right? And, you know, there's a path already carved for you. And so when you actually get on that trail and go, it appears to be far away, but you already know that it's only a mile hike or 2-mile hike or 5-mile hike or 10-mile hike, whatever it is, right? But if you've seen the end goal and you think, oh wow, like that's crazy that you can actually get up there. And so there's never doubt because you know, there's that confidence that I'm capable of doing a 5-mile hike and other people have done it. Someone has already made the trail ahead for me, right? And so that's kind of what I feel like I'm doing with this agility right now is I've made the path, I've decided the goal, and I know you just do one step at a time. You're just going to get closer and closer to that goal. And I'm not just going to break off and feed into instantly gratifying myself, you know, going out and PVMing and trying to get these updates and this excitement, and we just do one step at a time. We know what our goals are, we know why we picked them, and now we go and obtain them. We've already done the calculating. We already know what's best. We're not delaying the journey of going out to the wilderness. We're going to be in the wilderness. We're going to be there for a while. And we're not going to be able to get out of it. We're not avoiding the wilderness, right? So if there's no reason for me to go and rush that, besides bravado, besides to have instant gratification, besides to rush it, well, then why would I do it? Doesn't make sense to me, right? If that's the way I see it and view it. You know, maybe someone else disagrees. You can possibly say that I'm, you know, afraid to go out there or something like that. And they're not completely wrong. I hate going to the wilderness. That's why I'm picking it as the first challenge. But I'm not diving in to the deep end. We're preparing. And we're gonna get there. I could easily just dive in. It's not a... But to me, that's not conquering your fear. That's just letting it go. So instead, we're gonna do it in a way that I'm comfortable with, right? that I'm going to go out there and I'm going to live out there for a while. But that doesn't mean I don't get to reap the benefits of a little bit of investment before then, right? So you can call that rationalization. Might not be wrong, but this is Failing Out Loud. I'm going to explain my rationale. It makes sense to me, and the evidence is on film. I'm going to be truthful to what I believe is best, and what's best is to fail out loud right now. That's to confront my fears. That's to take on challenges that are going to progress my life. And to do that, well, it's to recognize that, I keep saying this, but I'm going to keep saying it for a while, and that's intellectually I can be past something very easily. I can just say, oh, there's nothing to be afraid of. I can rationale of, okay, I go into the wilderness, I get knocked out, I get sent back, and I look a little dumb to anyone that's watching, and whatever, that's part of the process, and right? But when I'm out there, I'm not going to want to die. And after I die, I don't think shame is what I'm going to feel, but I'm going to be, I guess I was going to say disappointed in myself, and maybe that's what shame is, right? But I don't feel ashamed, like I let someone down or anything. It's more of like I expect to be better, and I demand myself to be better. And so if that's shame, then I guess that's what I'll feel at that point. But to me, shame is more like, getting caught with your hands in the cookie jar. Kind of like I know I did, I know it was stupid, please forgive me. So it's like it's asking to return to someone that you submit to, I think. That's what I feel like shame is. And that's not the feeling that I'll have. It'll be one of disappointment in myself. That's how I phrased it earlier, and I think that would be the more accurate feeling, I guess. That I have, I think I'm capable, and to let someone beat me in PvP, even if I don't have any experience and skill in PvP, is a strike at my ego, I suppose, right? So I hope to expose myself to the wilderness in a way that will improve my abilities out there to escape and to do all these different things that I've never attempted before. But I want to do it in a way that honors my intelligence, not to ignore it and just to dive in. And what makes sense to me is to get my agility up to have access to the escapes out there. Give myself a little advantage. To make it seem feasible that I know what I'm doing. That, okay, we just need to escape. We can go underneath him with the what's it called? The snare or bind, all those, right? But to also have access to, hey, I can just run and click that agility thing and I can log out. And that feels like the more viable method. And so that's part of why I'm doing agility as well. Startup money, in-game convenience of having more run energy, unlocks the graceful outfit, gives me time to get a ton of death runes to build the account up. and time to chat. Time to explain what I'm doing here. And I think that's all good. So I value that over diving straight into the deep end. And I'm comfortable with everyone having their opinion on that. And so that's the name of the account, FailNOutloud. And that's nested into my new identity, online identity, I guess, Courageous Comfort. And so Failing Out Loud is I see failing out loud as access to the most important feedback of the universe, basically. Feedback is one of the most valuable resources. You can go all the way to a baby, to an artist, to whatever, to someone playing an instrument and listening, tuning it, that feedback that comes into their head, right? A baby will go and explore the world, and then they'll look back, they'll look at mom, they'll look at dad, and get their approval, and that will give them feedback that it's safe or not safe, right? They'll look at your reactions and see that you enjoy it, and they'll start doing funny things because they see you're rewarding them with telling them that we enjoy what you're doing when you're laughing, right? And so Failing Out Loud is, if I expose my weaknesses, I talk about them, I put them on display, put it out there, and I get to receive the feedback that comes back my way. And that's the path I've chosen. I see my biggest weaknesses to be I'm very good in solitude. I can perfect almost anything, I feel like, by myself. But when I'm in front of others and in company, my attention, it's not like my brain actively is saying the voice in my head is not saying anything, right? It's not saying, oh, this person's gonna do nothing like that is happening. It's more of this animalistic feeling comes into me of being aware of the other presence and sensing what they're doing and thinking and reacting, and that overtakes my brain's capacity to perform, I feel. And so I'm very much in tune with others when I'm in their presence. And the same thing happens when I'm on a camera. So I have an infinite amount of people that I know what they're kind of thinking. All the different possibilities are all flooding my head. Not directly of saying this person's going to say this person's going to do that. No, it's more of I know how I'm going to be perceived. And so overcoming that weakness of having a camera on me is the purpose of this live stream. It feels like I have the Eye of Sauron on me, and it can kind of incapacitate me, I feel. And so that's my goal, is to fail out loud. That's why I named my RuneScape character that. And so that means I'm going to take on new PVM bosses. What's this account management notification doing? Has it been doing that all stream, huh? I never noticed. So yeah, I'm going to fail out loud. That's going to give me the feedback directly. I'm not going to avoid it. And that will unlock new capabilities and capacities within me. And I'm going to do that with Courageous Comfort, the name of my channel. And what that all means, though, is having that new ability and experience the repetitions. So it's the repetitions and knowledge that I did it, right? That grants true confidence. Having confidence with no ability is foolish. It's bravado. And that's not what I seek in life. I seek to be reliable and dependable. And I'm attuned that I know when people wouldn't trust my abilities because I don't have the abilities. So it's not an indication of them, it's an indication of me, right? If they don't want to, no one wants to force you out of your comfort zone. So if you're not going to force yourself out of your comfort zone and prove that you have the abilities that you want to do for people, why should I suspect them or expect them to rely upon me, right? Why would they want to build camaraderie? Well, I mean, like, so the examples I'm saying, I already have the camaraderie. What I'm trying to say, though, is, you know, if I don't work on my weaknesses, no one's going to ask me to, but they won't rely upon me, right? So that's what failing out loud is. It's the recognition that I don't perform well in front of other people, so I'm going to live stream. I'm going to make myself look foolish. I'm going to overcome it. I'm going to have all that experience of overcoming it. And that's going to give me true confidence, not bravado. And with that, I have access to the feedback that's going to cause growth, cause wisdom, give me better discernment. And I hope to do it while building a little community here. That's my other little goal I have, is I think there's other people like me that want to be more earnest, but want to do it in a relaxed way. And so I feel like out there in the world, it's usually one or the other. It's kind of like people that care too much or care too little. It's like everyone's kind of selling one or the other. And very rarely are there people that seem to have both, and communities that have both capacities. And so that's why the name is Courageous Comfort. It's the ability to wander, but not be lost. That we're not trying to make deadlines, we're not trying to rush things, but we're not so relaxed that we're blind to what's going on. It's discernment in action, it's motion, it's rhythm. It's building yourself from where you currently are, not where you want to be. So I know where I'm at, I know where I want to be, so I'm going to put myself in the situations that I hope get me to where I want to be. But I'm not just going to jump to where I want to be and pretend that's me. To me, that's ignoring your feelings. You know, you have feelings for a reason. So if you're afraid of social situations, that's not a indication that you're less masculine or something of that nature, right? I think that's just a recognition of the situation. You know, if you look at animals, I think this is the best comparison, right? An animal meets another animal, they don't ignore each other. They go up and greet, and they kind of growl a little bit, and they check each other out, they sniff each other out, right? They don't ignore their fear that they might get bitten. And humans are more complex than animals. There's deception, there's consequences, right? So to have no fear is not conquering your fear, it's ignoring your fear. And so I don't want to ignore my fear. Neither do I really want to conquer it, because I don't think you can completely conquer it. I think it's more of a recognition of it, and it has less impact, and it's no longer novel because you've done it so many times, and you have the confidence that you're going to get through it. So that's my account. That's my purpose. There's many factors, there's many values that I have, and they all don't always coherently work together. And you kind of have to put ideas into practice, right? Ideas are fine on their own. They kind of forge the future. But if you don't actually test them, how do you know they're good ideas? Because that's the problem with our current society, in my view, is our current society kind of, we do what sounds good, sounds right, sounds strong, sounds whatever, right? It's like the left and more feminine drives. They do what sounds more sympathetic, typically. And the right, the more masculine, they do what sounds tougher, typically. But smarter. It's not just tough, right? It's like a but it kind of turns into macho-ness sometimes. And I think macho-ness is not the worst thing. I don't think being overly sympathetic is the worst thing either, but you know, sometimes there's real threats out there, and sometimes there's real problems out there. So sometimes projecting strength is the answer to a problem, and sometimes more love is the answer to a problem. And I think having the ability to do both of those is the solution. I wish I could just press the button and it would come instead of waiting on that me to close that. So that's who I am. Those are my motivations. That's my reasoning. I hope it's reason and not rationalization. I hope I make sense. And we just take one step at a time, one rooftop at a time, one cat at a time, one boss at a time, one moment at a time. And we wander, but we don't get lost. And when we do get lost, we get back on course. You know, someone's got to forge the trail. And so we wander but don't get lost, but you know, if you're forging a new trail, you're not lost. Even if you're off the path. You're making the path. And I don't know if that's what I'm doing here, but I'm trying to. So that's why I kind of pick my own path in this game. Is I don't want to do what's safe and predictable and someone else's optimized way of doing it. I want to pick what makes sense to me. If someone else's path makes sense, then yes, I'll emulate it and I'll try to incorporate it. But I kind of hope to do my own somewhat unique path. I'm sure others have done similar ones to me. But I just pick goals and then I work myself backwards. I'm not going to do an optimized quest order thing. I'm not going to try to find the newest, best meta that's out there on what you should do and what PVM boss to do first or anything like that. I kind of look at what the game offers and I try to piece together what makes sense and try to look at what I lack at different points and if there's an easy way to make up for it. And so that's kind of how I forged this path that we're on. So this path involves a minimal amount of quests to set myself up financially and to have the lowest amount of investment for the highest amount of rewards. It's kind of what we're trying to do. And then at the same time, we're taking care of some grinds that we're eventually going to have to do and trying to reap the benefits of those grinds when they're the most beneficial. So that's why we're on an agility grind. That's why we're going to try to get up to 75 so that we can have access to shortcuts that are going to be vital for the next chapter. And if chapter 1 is whatever, and now we're in chapter 2, which is whatever. Chapter 3 is Wilderness Slayer and going for the Void Waker eventually. So that's our eventual goal. And with that, I would say that's the end of maybe book 1 of the series almost. That will be the end of the early account and we'll be in the mid game at that point. And so mid game we'll start probably with something like Barrows into Perilous Moons, into Royal Titans, into a massive Slayer grind probably. Something like going for demonic, I get Tormented Demons would be the first major goal of what we want. Demonic Gorillas for Zenites. Try to get our Tormented Bracelet. Look to upgrade our, get our crafting up. I'm not sure how much crafting I want to rush. But we probably won't go for crafting levels until we need them. So when we get the Tormented Bracelet, when we get the need for a Tormented Bracelet, that's when I'm going to get my crafting up. And that's probably at the point where I want to start using magic and going to, I think, Doom of Mokiatl. Because you're going to get the Confliction Gauntlets. So I kind of want to... Okay, so let me try to explain what my reasoning. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping. So the Doom of Mokiatl, all you need is Elite Void and a Scorching Bow. Everything else is kind of secondary, right? So if I make that my first major grind, I'm going to do Perilous Moons and Moons of Barrows and Royal Titans, but those are all relatively easy. And we're gonna do a little bit of Slayer to get myself my Scorching Bow right. But at that point, I don't know what's holding me back from doing the Doom of Mokiato. And so we'll do that. You know, Ranger boots are not that important, right? There's very little upgrade it's going to do for me there. So we'll do the Doom. We'll get our Tormented Bracelet. We'll get our Confliction Gauntlet upgrade, I mean. And then we'll probably go and get our crafting after that. That's how I kind of foresee the account. We'll really grind into crafting at that point. I'm kind of hoping for a crafting minigame to come. I think that's inevitable next one. We have farming mini games. Farming is pretty easy to get up, so I don't see that as the next one. Woodcutting, we just got forestry. It's also in Wintertod, so it's also pretty AFK. There's quicker ways to doing it. You can 3-tick. Like there's, who knows? Maybe there's going to be one, but it's also involved in the Veil Totem, which just came out. So woodcutting is relatively involved, I feel. So I doubt that that's going to be the next one. Fire making's Wintertod, so I feel like that's kind of the answer. And I think they recently did the, you can like make campfires together or something like that. I don't know how recent that was, but cooking is related to Temporos. It's one of the fastest skills to go up, and they're making a lot of PVM bosses and such give you more and more raw food rather than cooked food, I think. And so I think cooking is not going to be hard for us to get up. And, you know, we're going to have to get a lot of Bromwans, and we're going to go cook those. And, yeah, cooking is probably not it. It's also involved with Temporos. Temporos is obviously Temporos. Smithing is the Giant's Foundry and Blast Furnace. So I doubt that they're going to make a dedicated minigame next for that. Mining, I think you can make an argument for, but mining goes with crafting, possibly, in the minigame. Mining's also in the rune crafting minigame, so I kind of have my doubts that, and it isn't Volcano a mining one, and then there's all the others, yeah, so there's mining. Not going to be a minigame. Agility, I mean, that's, they just release new courses type of thing, right? Maybe they make more engaging courses at a lower level. I'm not really sure if they're going to call that a mini game, but they might release something, right? Herblore, they did the Master of Mixology recently. So I kind of see that as the mini game, the solution to herbs that you might not want, herbs that are not that valuable, you put into that. Thieving, there's Pyramid Plunder. It's a relatively quick skill to get up. That's a possible mini game in the future, who knows? And then crafting is what I think is going to be the next mini game. It's the worst, the less intuitive, the less incorporated skill, I feel, into an Ironman's game, but it's one that has like the highest demand with the Zenites and with Dragonhide body armors and whatever else, and jewelry. You kind of like need crafting, but it feels like you have to go out of your way to do it. Like it doesn't, like you're just doing it just to get it. Like it's not doesn't feel like related to the rest of the game sometimes, that you have to go and farm seaweed and go and buy soda ash and go mine sand and then go and do your thing. It kind of like, you're not getting these from drops from bosses and such, whereas with smelting you kind of get a lot of like gold ore and such. And so yeah, I don't know, you know, crafting you get gems and such, but it doesn't really feel that good to me, especially early game crafting. And so that's why I predict that crafting is going to be the next minigame. So let's look at the rest of the skills. Fletching is a new minigame that we already had. Veil Totem. Slayer is always constantly being like added. New bosses, new monsters, and yeah, that's just how they're going to do that. That's not a minigame. I think you train Slayer with Slayer is pretty obvious. Hunter has the new rumors and that whole new system, so I think Hunter's taken care of and in a good spot. Construction has mahogany homes. You know, maybe they'll release some type of construction methods in the form of a mini game, but I just don't really see it. I suppose like it, mahogany homes is the mini game, feels right, and there's other mini games and things that you can do that benefit construction. You know, I think the Winter Todd you get construction XP, and I think at Fishing Trawler you get, or well, you also get XP there, but I was thinking of Temporos, you'll get some XP there. So I don't really see construction as the next mini game that they'll come out with. Rune crafting as a mini game. Magic doesn't need one. Prayer, they just did the all the Varlamore stuff with the bone shards and such, so that's not really a mini game. And then combat, well, every boss is a mini game kinda, so I'd feel unnecessary. And so that all leads me to say is I think crafting is what I'm predicting to be the next mini game. And so I'm not going to focus on crafting until I need to on this account, because I feel like I have to go out of my way and grow seaweed, and then just a big pain, and I don't think it's really necessary. And so the reason that is the Necklace of Anguish is a very strong necklace, but the way I'm going to play this account is I'm not going to actually need it. I'm going to get the Eclipse armor and use a strength amulet or a glory, or, you know, my best strength amulet at the time, and that will avoid me needing it. Magic, we're going to eventually need the Tormented Bracelet, but that's not until you really get powered staffs. And I see Toa and Yama as and other raids and such as the main need for the Tormented Bracelet. And so when we start doing Doom of Mokiato and get the Confliction Gauntlets, I'm hoping maybe that's when I push for the Tormented Bracelet. And, you know, that's a long way out. There's definitely a chance that I'll just go and get my crafting up before then. But I would prefer to get my crafting up passively. Go and do star mining, get a lot of gems, and craft them. And if it all works out in my favor, the new minigame that I'm predicting to come out will use cut gems, just as Veil Totem uses unstrung bows. So that's my prediction for the future. And setting myself up for that prediction isn't going to harm my account. And when I'm in need of crafting, we'll just go and do it. But I have a funny feeling that a crafting minigame is going to be on our horizon, and that there'll be better ways to train early crafting, and that I don't really need to worry about it. I know how to get strength amulets, I know how to get power amulets. I'm going to train my hunter, so we'll probably get a glory from Dragon Implane. And I think Amulet of Power will do good with the setup that I'm going for. That I'll be able to switch with one necklace between Eclipse and Melee. And even before Eclipse, I love the direction the game's kind of going. I think some things are maybe getting a little too easy, but I don't think they're getting super easy yet. You know, I do think Yama is a little too rewarding for the drops that he offers. It kind of makes Nex feel kind of bad. But the crossbow there is very strong, so, you know, I think it still will be fine, right? But, and then the same thing with the Perilous Moons, kind of devalued Bandos. And, you know, I think I'm fine with that. You know, Bandos is a pretty old content. Next is kind of, not something I'm looking forward to doing, so having Oathplate armor kind of saves that. So yeah, I like the way that the game is kind of shaping up, and I'll use my predictive powers to say that crafting is going to be in the next minigame, and that I'm not going to need crafting until later, I meant to say. And when later appears, we'll go and get our crafting levels, and there's a chance that there'll just be a minigame waiting for me that's going to use up the resources that I'm going to gather and train my crafting up with. Those ones being cut gems, is what I'm predicting. That's the end of my coffee. Been streaming for an hour and a half. It's a little cold in my room, so my coffee's a little cold. Testing to keep my thermostat at 65 and see if that's comfortable, or if I need to turn it back up to 68. I think it's good to live a little uncomfortably sometimes. You know, this is courageous comfort, but being comfortable in the uncomfortable is what courageous comfort really is, though, right? It's granting me permission with true confidence and true experience to be comfortable, is what I would say. To be even-headed, to experience my emotions and feelings fully, process them, and decide best courses of actions. So it's a very relaxed way to discern and to build strength. And so it's just to try to gather all of my values that I have and coherently name them and enact them and practice them, see what sticks, and live my best life. And where has that led me? Leads me to doing these long agility grinds at the start of accounts. But I went through the reasoning earlier, why I think that is the wise decision, why I want to do it. There's many ways up the mountain, and I feel like finding my own path a little bit on that. And so I'm wandering, but I'm not lost. So that's what the spirit I wish to evoke. The line that I said, wandering but not lost, all who wander are not lost, I credit to J.R.R. Tolkien, the writer of Lord of the Rings. And that line came to me the other day while on stream, and it was somehow magically like the realization I had to have of trying to find my way in this game and to kind of test out these different values I had. Was I want to wander, but I don't necessarily want to be lost. So I might want to challenge myself, but that doesn't mean I have to jump right to the challenge. I can still discern, I can still pick the path, and kind of carve my way how I see fit. And I can do it in a way that embraces the journey, embraces the certain feelings I have. Let me get my cat. Forget if he said hunger. Is he hungry? Or is he needing attention? Alright, we'll spoil him. So that's what we're doing here. We hope to wander. But it doesn't mean we're lost. We want to go on journeys. It doesn't mean we're going to plan the journey and make it a safe vacation. But it doesn't mean we have to go into the unsafe lands, go fight barbarians for no reason. That's not very smart, and that's kind of a reductive way of living. So even if I wish to challenge myself, it doesn't mean I need to take every challenge possible onto myself. So that's what this channel is, Courageous Comfort, where I hope to prove that. And alongside that is my other value. And that value is play. I think play is really not different from adventure, though. So we can plan all we want, but we need play. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to wander, I'm trying to play, I'm trying to test what happens, but you still have to allow it to happen. So you can plan, you can discern, you can choose, but ultimately it's to set up play. And so we're setting up play right now. And we're gonna push myself out of my comfort zone from time to time. And we're gonna grow the capacity of what my comfort zone means. That's the project in a nutshell. And so another way of saying that is the marriage of courage and comfort is a marriage of things like play and wandering and journeys and everything that I'm kind of putting in that category, marrying that to what I call discernment, what I call choosing, of being deliberate, and of building structure, right? Structure and unstructure, I want to marry those together, and to me that's wisdom. Wisdom is the ability to... There's a lot of different ways I'm going to try to say this, but wisdom is that your actions make the results that you desire, and the results you desire give you the feelings that you desire, and that it's sustainable, right? And so right now I'm looking for a little bit of a challenge, and so I'm trying to give myself a slow growth into that challenge. And so challenge one is getting comfortable. Courage is comfort, right? So it's courage into comfort, and then when you get comfortable, you then push your boundary just a little bit more. You just kind of keep doing that dance, and that builds self-reliance, builds strength, builds yourself into a fuller, stronger version of yourself. And if you do it slowly, you do it without resentment, you do it without suffering, and you do it with a smile on your face. So and I think you should do it with a good amount of play, do it with a good amount of comfort. But it's the reminder that you should have the spirit of play and the spirit of journey and spirit with you. And it's not a kid's thing. You know, I think that's what one of the lies of society or something, right? That play is for kids or something like that. And I don't know. I feel like we're kind of collectively learning that that's not true. That all this pretense of being the adults in the room that our media and our politicians might do, right? Is that they're all facade. And, you know, maybe that's why Donald Trump got elected, was he has an element of play within him. messing with people, name calling, all these, more risky, breaking the rules a little bit, right? That's what play is. It's kind of good play. You kind of figure out how to it's playing with the boundaries that you guys have and seeing if you can stretch them a little bit. See if you guys can grow together a little bit. See if you can bring out your abilities and their abilities, kind of push past them, right? And so that's another goal of mine on this stream, is not just to grow, which that is, right? But a lot of times that language doesn't sound playful. It sounds more like militaristic or something, discipline and all these different things. Well, no, it's not what I'm looking for. It's to Courageous Comfort is about play, fundamentally. That's probably if I had to pick a single word that actually encompasses what I'm doing, it's play. But when people say play, what comes in their head is maybe different than what comes into my head. And it's the realization that everything good in life is play. And anything that's good outside of that is survival. And I don't think our survival is very it's not super difficult at the moment in time, but we're still not playing. So I want to do my part in expressing my values, my visions, and my intelligence and my spirit, and put that out into the world, and not to separate myself from it. That I'm part of this digital landscape now. I'm part of my geographic landscape, even if I'm hiding in a house or in a basement or whatever most of my life, right? It doesn't mean I'm gonna force myself to be super outgoing. That's not who I am. I'm an introverted person, comfortable with that. I know who I am. My nature is to think inward, right? That's what thinking is. Thinking is kind of introversion, and talking is kind of often extroversion. And it's not exactly that. Just bear with me, I guess. As I get drained in social situations, that's the markings of an introvert, right? And maybe I could transform into being someone that isn't drained in those social situations. But, maybe sometimes your nature isn't something that you can just fully mold. Maybe there's something in there that supersedes your thoughts, right? Oh, I could be this. Yeah, sure you could. Maybe it's to recognize and grow into my full self is to see that I'm not 100% malleable. And that I can think, I live in Narnia or something like that. And whatever nonsense, right? I'm not just gonna... There's a good chance that there are certain characteristics about me and about everyone else that are not malleable. And I think you can shift them a little bit, but I'm kind of making the case that I'm an extremely introverted person, and while I'd like to grow my capacity, that won't make me an extroverted person fundamentally. I'll be an introverted person with the ability to communicate better, handle social situations better, not be drained as much as I normally would be, right? But I don't think I'll fundamentally change that characteristic about myself. I'll just learn how to be better with it. So that's what I'm seeking to do here. Hi, how's it going, bud? Welcome to the channel. Charles James or Maria James? Maria. So we're doing agility. I believe it's a good foundational skill for the account. A necessary grind, if you will. It's possible, Maria. Maybe after the stream we can chat a little bit. Look at what you can offer and see if we Oh, very nice. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, we'll see what, if I like the style, maybe first, and then we'll see if we're good at coming up with ideas together on how to shape. But yeah, we're pushing on with agility. And with agility, it's a foundational skill. One that doesn't really improve later on in terms of XP per hour, in terms of rewards. It's most beneficial at the start of an account, in my view. The main reason we're doing it is for the ability to escape in the wilderness at the Revenant Caves. And since we're going to do that, I also want to get to 75 so that I can use a shortcut to get to the lava dragons. A shortcut, hopefully, to escape. But we shall see. So the song playing now is Rito Village from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's one of my favorite songs from the game, one of my top 3 probably, and it's the marking of being midway in this stream. And so very shortly we're going to take a little restroom break, maybe make another coffee, and see what we can come up with. Let's see how much longer our cat has. I think he said he's lonely, so there you go. And let's talk to our kitten. Or interact, I guess. Guess age, there you go. So an hour and 18 more minutes for our cat. So we'll be able to get a new one before the end of our stream today. But before then, let's take a quick little break, use the restroom, and go from there. So let's call my cat, pick him up just in case if he wants to run away from me. Or I guess maybe we just feed him and assume I'll be back before he runs away, because you get a few minutes. So I'll be back shortly using the restroom. Gonna grab a coffee real quick and I'll be back. Alright, we're back. My camera lost its spot. Hello? He sees me. What's up, Ricky? Thanks for the ruby. What a good guy, you know? Oh, we fell. So our cat has about another hour until he becomes a... Our kitten has about another hour until he becomes a cat. Alright, so where were we? talking about agility, talking about all the grinds that I'm doing. I also showed all of my opinions on the Disneyfication of animals in society, how we're kind of how too much coddling is kind of the issue of the left, and more of the feminine nature in our culture, and the opposite kind of rings true for the rights and conservatives, to dominate and not listen, and to kind of have some bravado. And I think both of them have their place, but they're not in proper balance right now. And so that's what I talked about earlier. And I talked about some PVM that I think I'll be doing, how I'm going to progress and advance through the game, how I'll be doing that. Yeah, we'll be growing one cat at a time. We'll be clicking one rooftop at a time. And eventually we get there along our path. Wandering, not lost. Discerning, but still playing. Courageous, but comfortable. Comfortable, but courageous. So that's how I balance my life, and how I view things. It's not A or B, it's A and B combined healthily. Finding the room for proper incorporation into myself, into the environments that I go into, but also to not see myself outside of the environments that I'm in. So I can complain about culture, I can complain about anything and everything, right? But I think that's a failure to recognize that I have a say in this stuff, and if I don't, that maybe is an indication of something that isn't quite right, and I don't necessarily have to accept. So that's my view of it. Who I am, who I want to be, how I'll get there, the choices I made and why. And we do it one step at a time, diving into the details, zoning out and looking at the grand picture. You need both. Play and discernment, knowing and not knowing, imagining and actualizing. It's the incorporations as the opposite. And so that's what I kind of, I set my picture yesterday, because something I had said and realized as I was saying was this a certain motif I see in culture. I look at games like I think Assassin's Creed is probably the most obvious, but I think stuff like Batman, Ghost of Tsushima, if you played that game, also has it. And there's more, but it's this motif of when the world is not ideal and people have a light to shine or whatever, while they go into the shadows to do so. And so Batman doesn't let the world corrupt him, doesn't let his fears overtake him. He faces them, and his authentic Batman comes out. His values, but his values are not really accepted into society. There's Falcone, there's other obstacles in the way that corrupt the justice system of his world, right? And so then Assassin's Creed is kind of the similar motif. You're like these holy assassins, right? And so when you get the graceful outfit in this game, you go down to the Rogue's Den, and it very much is similar to the Assassin's Creed outfit. It's also similar motif to Skyrim and the Nightingale, I think they're called. Is that the name of them? I'm trying to think. But so, and that's all to say is that there's this incorporation of the opposites that I'm going for in life often, and the need for why you need both. And it's, you know, to shine your light, sometimes you have to go into the shadow. And that's what Batman does. And if you're living in an unjust society, well, that's how you do it. And so in my own life, it was the recognition that not being able to bring the light that I have within me out, bringing my ideals, my sense of self, my earnestness, my desire to look after people, and my nature to protect and other things, right? Like that. To build something good, to take certain things serious. You can't always, society doesn't always kind of accept your light, your ability to tell the truth. You're supposed to kind of lie in society. The lies that keep society together, I didn't want to engage with a lot of them. And all the BS and stuff that you gotta be know and what you gotta be up into to claim to be a moral person in the circles that I was in, as a college student at the time, right? So, gonna be a little bit more liberal crowd, less working men crowd. And, so I just didn't engage as much. It was all this fakeness, and you can kind of see the virtue signaling and whatever else, right? And it just, good for you guys, whatever maybe you believe your own stories, and maybe some people went out and did great things, but I always sensed the fakeness in a lot of people, and saying things like, well, teach your man to fish or give him a fish, what's better? And sometimes a little bit of stress in life is what's necessary, and so I had those beliefs, but I didn't always care to share them. And what I thought was for best didn't always get spoken. And so that was kind of a reflection on how Batman went to the Bat Cave to overcome his fear, and that's kind of what I'm trying to reflect on. Is I kind of had to go to the basement and just game and do whatever else, and I felt like society didn't really want my views. And as I became a man more, you start to see the lies a little bit more fully. And what people force themselves to believe. And I didn't want to be a part of that. I went through a little Reddit phase, and I think I could have fallen into that more and become a king of virtue signaling there. And I started to realize the effects it had on me, and that they were not the true virtues that I was looking for in life. Where's my cat? Okay, inventory. And so I kind of hope to expand the territory for others that might be like me. And I'll do that through my account. I'll do that through my channels. And that's kind of the goal. So I have multiple goals. The first goal was just to put myself in front of a camera and see if I can improve. And I already feel like I have slightly, but that is not tested yet, because I need to deal with chat while I'm doing that. I think is to interact with a known audience and to see their reactions and actions to what I'm doing and get comfortable with that. So I might be comfortable now with the camera on me and everyone seeing me and being an idiot and a fool and whatever else, right? Making mistakes and overcoming them and proving that we can journey and we can wander, but that doesn't mean we're lost, right? And so the next step along this process is to build a little community so that I can further test. There's multiple reasons to why I'm building the community, right? It's not just for a testing ground, but it's in the account FailNOutloud, which is my RuneScape account. Step one was to get comfortable in front of a camera. And I think I've already kind of done that to a certain extent. But I think step two is interacting with people while on camera. And so that's part of why I want to build a community, but there's other reasons too. And so we go on this journey one step at a time, and I challenge myself in different directions. And when the moment is right, the challenges will present themselves. And so that's what courageous comfort is. It's one step at a time, the balancing of opposite values seemingly, and the recognition that the marriage of opposite values is often what is demanded for a balanced life. And it's not to say that we always choose the middle. That's incorrect. That's a different extreme. No, it's the recognition that you need both tools on your tool belt. So it's not always to have both attributes always on display and always enacted, and that's not right. It's the courage to be comfortable and the comfort to be courageous. So, to push boundaries when I feel like it, push my abilities when I feel like it, and the confidence to know that I'm good, that I can relax, I can do things calmly, do them in a discerning fashion, and that's good enough for me. So we do step by step, we get experience, we learn to talk, we learn how to make an entertaining stream that people want to engage with, and people will come and talk. So, we know what we're doing, we know why we're doing it, so I want to get on with it, right? And, challenges are going to present themselves to me, so I don't have to go out of my way for those challenges. I don't need those challenges. I don't have to force myself. And if I'm unable to receive the challenge, I can be comfortable with that. So that's what courageous comfort is, I guess. So I seek the challenge, but I'm comfortable enough to recognize that I'm setting myself up for the challenge, and I don't need to go out of my way for it. Or maybe that's not the exact way I wanted to say that. I wanted to say was, I seek the challenge, but the pressure and demand to have the challenge isn't going to eat away at me. That when the appropriate time comes, I will rise to it. I'll set myself up to experience the challenge. And if it doesn't present itself, then so be it. And so I feel like Failing Out Loud, this RuneScape character I created, is about many things, but I feel like I've gotten much comfortable now with camera on me, and so Failing Out Loud's next step is it's gonna come, but it's not something I have control over. I can influence it, which I'm going to try, but I'm not going to let it eat me up, is what I'm trying to say. So, we get there one day at a time. We walk, we crawl, we climb, we try to run, we try to sprint. And we progress our RuneScape account at different points, and we progress my abilities as a streamer at different points, and we test my abilities as a content creator at other points, and I hope to do that slowly and comfortably and prove that we can get there. I might see something in the distance that feels like a far way out, but I've been on enough hikes to know that you just keep walking, you get there. That thing in the distance, it's only 20 minutes away, even if it looks super, super long. You just keep walking and you get there. You have the confidence that it's going to happen. And the foundation of my confidence is experience, capability, and somewhat of an imagination that it's going to work out. Faith, I guess, maybe is a better word. Faith that it's going to work out. So as we grind for our graceful outfit, I reflect. Reflect that It's the balance of opposite feelings, emotions, and to choose it with discernment and with play. Discernment with play. That's courageous comfort. Or play with discernment. Maybe sounds even better. So yeah, maybe that's the best way to define what courageous comfort actually means. Play with discernment. It's this feeling of treating everything seriously is not right. Treating everything unseriously is not right. Judging everything's not right. Playing with everything is not right. And so it's just to combine them all together. To wander, but not be lost, is how I think I also want to phrase it. That comes from J.R.R. Tolkien, at least to me. He said, not all who wander are lost. And so that was something I realized on some of my early mistakes on the account, was I kind of went in without a plan or went in with too much of a plan, and things didn't always go according to how I wanted them to, and I was okay with it. So that's where we're at. That's where we're going. Let me turn some distractions off. Very good. We're 3 hours in almost, 2.5 I suppose. Our streams are approximately 4 hours. I'm going to start trying to just stream maybe once a day maybe. Monday through Friday. I'm tempted to do double streams, and maybe it is better to do the double streams early, but there's starting to be a pile of video I want to go through and convert to YouTube videos to make sense of the journey, to review, to understand, to see how I'm failing out loud, see if I'm living courageous, comfortable, see if I'm playful or not, because it does seem like, sometimes I'm too calm, and sometimes I'm too reactive. And so, how do I get play in that, I guess, if, maybe my natural reactions are play to begin with. Maybe that's all good too. And, maybe I need more playful music. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe I should look into changing the mood when I feel like it. Maybe making a couple playlists and pivoting when it benefits me. And I structured my playlist very deliberately to echo a certain landscape of feelings that the songs gave me. To echo essentially the hero's journey. See each episode as kind of a little cycle in itself. And so, you start off with what I feel is kind of like a campfire scene. You go into the ordinary world. You have echoes of a call, a refusal of the call, an identity crisis with the refusal. Eventually you gain courage and take a step out. to go in the unknown. Your curiosity rewards you. And that reward comes with a price. You come to understand those that maybe had gone down similar paths. And so right now, this song to me is coming back to the mentor. These feelings of mournful wisdom, maybe. It feels wise. It feels like pain and certain levels of healing and understanding coming out wiser. So that's the current song. And I play that near the end of the stream for that intention as part of the little hero's journey that I formulated my music to hopefully echo. And little reminders along the way for me too, where I'm at in the stream, where I'm at in the little journey of that episode, and little reminders of a grander picture. And so after the morning, after maturity, after seeing the world more clearly, this song gives me a sense of painful knowing, understanding. There's still some hope and there's still some emotion, but to me it's more of there's a certain cost in the song, I sense. Sense of maybe sacrifice, of regret, maybe a little bit, maybe not regret, but there's payoff. So it's like to me it's a song of grace, I guess. That's what I'm trying to get to. And the cost that you put in to receive that. That's what this song makes me feel, I guess. It's when the ring falls in, the culmination of accumulation of story comes to this pivotal spot, an emotional climax. The journey is completed, but you're not home yet. But it was worth it. You grew, you learned, discovered, journeyed, you wandered, and you came back with knowledge. And so that's what this song is, to me at least. Like, maybe you're not home yet, but you've been rewarded. And it was, there was pain along the way, there was frustrations, and who you are is different. When Frodo goes back, he can't stay in the Shire anymore. Fundamentally changes. Luke doesn't go back to his home, he makes a new one. Harry does the same, right? There's a change. And I think this song is, to me, is a reminder of that change, of that healing, of that incorporation of something that you didn't understand before, to have a grander experience, but maybe that's just me. And so all my songs, I kind of have a certain level of thought put into them, and I select them at different points in the playlist. The playlist is close to 4 hours. I removed one because it kept getting copyright striked, even though it shouldn't have. And I'll probably put it back in once I clear a disputation on YouTube. Once it gets disputed, I will probably put the song back in. But there's a little void in my playlist now. And it was 2 songs ago. It was skipped. Okay, looks like we're coming up on 57. Briefly. Not too briefly, but one step at a time. I want to check my cat's age now. See if I want to extend the stream today or not. Because we are missing 8 minutes of my stream. Is that song no longer with us? Oops, not talk. I want to interact and guess age. He's got 40 minutes. And so my stream has 45, about 55 minutes. Okay, so we'll make sure our cat is grown. We'll go get a new one. We have 42 marks of grace and an amulase pack. So that's basically 50 marks of grace. We had made a little detour to the worm course, and it wasn't my preferred route, so I came back to Falador instead. It's going to be quicker here. I prefer the pacing in terms of my actions and the animation speed of the course. Very intuitive here. The worm course is maybe more AFK, but you do a lot of watching and waiting and then clicking, which, you know, maybe off stream would be my preferred course for such a long grind, but I find this course actually more relaxing while streaming somehow. And the reason is that I don't know what my cat just said, but I don't want to lose another one, so let's just feed him and pet him. The reason why I find it more enjoyable and I find it more relaxing is that it's very obvious when you can start climbing again. And we're sitting anyways, so clicking a button a little bit is not that big of a deal. We're paying attention to what we're doing, so it's not that big of a deal either. And the worm course kind of gets me to get out of the zone, what I'm doing. And so, as I keep saying, you know, we wander, but we're not lost. And I found at the worm course, I was wandering and getting lost. So that's why we chose to come back to rooftops. We also learned that you can't convert termites directly into marks of, or into a graceful outfit. That you actually need to go and sell them at a discount to buy amylase to then sell into marks of grace. And so while the worm course might prove more fruitful later, we'll wait until at least 62 so we can use the advanced course. With the advanced course, we'll get more XP there, and we'll also get more shards and termites. And so at that point, I think it'll be worth it. I'll be kind of over doing rooftops, I think, at that point. I'll have done it for quite a bit. And we'll move on to mastery over wandering with a chance of getting lost and finding a new rhythm with that. Checking out the advanced course, recognizing that there's a lot more waiting, a lot more patience being asked. That, you know, my multitasking ability is going to be changed. My flow is going to be changed of my multitasking. That right now it feels like I'm able to play and talk at the same time very easily, and to think coherently with that pace. And when I did the worm course earlier, it kind of disrupted that flow. So recognition of it, that it wasn't for the best for my stream, wasn't the best for my account, and all of that meant that it was time to move on, come back to Falador, do that course instead, and then return when it made sense for the account. And it makes sense for the account after I get graceful, after I get to 62. And you get more marks of, or more termites and more bone shards at 62 than you do at 50. So I would rather maximize my XP, maximize my marks of grace up until I get my graceful outfit, and then return to the more AFK new course with more rewards, more termites per hour converted into amylase packs than other courses. And in addition, you get bone shards. And in addition, it's supposedly more relaxed. Less clicks, less strain on my hand, and I'll learn the new pacing. We'll see how it goes. We'll get over my my discomfort in the pace. That, you know, is throwing me off of trying to talk and think while also having to anticipate when my character would be done, because he doesn't do just one action, he does like 6 actions on that course. You're like jumping here, jumping there, jumping there, jumping, and it's not it's something that I could have learned and gone through, but when you also sense that you're converting termites into marks of grace to get your graceful outfit, it just didn't make a lot of sense to me. So that's what this song meant to me, is that it's like a recognition of grace, maybe. And I also call that the cost of knowing, is how I worded it when I did a little write-up, I guess, to help me flesh out my feelings towards all these songs that I felt called to want to put on stream, and then organized them in a way. And then I saw this story come out as I organized it. And so this is the second to last song we'll be playing. It's going to play for about 15-16 minutes. And for all you Zelda enjoyers out there, you might know that this is Epona's song. That's your horse in the game. It's a very nostalgic place. A reminder of home. This is the ride home in the hero's journey, the return to the Shire. At every journey you go on, that you have some place to return to. In this nostalgic song, the horse has its strongest, I'm blanking on the word I want to use, visual cue is, I guess, the best I can come up with. That picture, that vision of the song to me is a horse, and the song gives me this nostalgic feel, and so it's a nostalgic ride home is what I got out of the song. So I placed it as the second to last song. Yeah. You know, maybe I'll echo the playlist one more time. That it starts off with the Wind Waker's title theme, which gave me a campfire-esque vibe of someone telling a legend, and it invites people in to a certain mysteriousness and a certain story that's to come. After that, I picked a song that gives me kind of a feeling of a comfortable, ordinary world. That's where the story always starts, right? Stories doesn't start in the middle, doesn't start when you get there, it starts before you take off. The next song on the playlist was a song that made me feel somewhat like dreamy of an adventure. So it's kind of, to me, the call to action of this dream of adventure. Something that gets you out of the ordinary world. people don't usually, they don't just wake up and leave home, right? So you go into the dream world and then you come out, right? Dream of adventure. Well, you still have your ordinary life first. So the next song that plays is another sense of community, sense of home, sense of belonging song. Very comfortable song. And then the next song I play is one where it gives this I called it undeserved paradise. That things are too comfortable. It feels like you're on vacation, but not adventuring. It feels like something's missing, but it's paradise unearned. And it's a song that has a lot of feelings of being at an ocean. There's also this feeling in it that maybe there's something lacking. There's a little bit of dissidence and distance. I wasn't sure which word I was going to use, but they kind of merged together. But there's something missing. Something's not quite there. So that's when that thought came to me, I was like, oh, this is paradise, unearned paradise. And so the next song I played after that was Kakariko Village, which has a sense of secrecy and introspection and a sense of deception I felt. And it kind of came to me that maybe that's the wrestles that we have within ourselves, right? We get this campfire mood, we then go back to the ordinary world in comfort. You go and enjoy that. You have a dream after that kind of echoes the call that you heard at the fire, right? And you wake up from the dream in the ordinary world. Things are still fine, but later you feel like you have paradise unearned. And so after the unearned paradise, you maybe take off and you get 57 agility, you know? That's what we're doing it all for, right? 57 agility. But yeah, after the dream, after the comfort, after feeling like it's an unearned reward that you can't maintain that world you live in if you just let things all be what it is, well, eventually you go. You take a step out. And so the next song that I picked was an echo of the Dream song. In the Zelda game, I think it's Skyward Sword. There's a sand area, desert, right? I guess sand area, desert. Lanayru Sand Sea or something, I think it's called, or something of that nature. It's a song that I thought was kind of dreamy. And then there's Lanayru Mine, which gave me a sense that you're in an unknown place, that you're kind of have to look over your shoulders and see if your fear is out there and confront it. And so that's why I picked that song to be kind of the exit of the ordinary world. And you're into Lanayru Mind. It's an echo of the dream you had earlier of Lanayru Sand Sea. And then after that, well, the confrontation with the eerie, with the ghosts. And so I picked Hyrule Field from The Legend of Zelda, the Twilight Princess, I meant to say, where at nighttime there's this eeriness that you're out in the dark, and there's some noises that you hear that you're unsure of, and you're not in safety exactly, but you're out journeying. Something that's out of your ordinary wheelhouse, right? And so that's what that song means to me. The next on my playlist is Korok Forest. That's how you pronounce it, from Breath of the Wild. And to me, it's, you go out of the world, go into this eerie place, and, well, I like to think that curiosity gives you a reward. And so to me, that song is about curiosity, and it's about play. And so it's kind of like, it's about the friends we made along the way type of moment in the song. Of like, in the game, you go to Korok. It's this, I think it's how you pronounce it. I'm probably butchering it, but but yeah, you go to Korok, and it's all these like hidden little nature spirit thingies that the rest of the game you kind of find them out in the world. They're kind of hidden, but then you find them in these random spots, and so then you go to their town, and so it's this like curious play of self-discovery is what I think the song really nails that emotion and feeling and sense. And so that's how I'm building my playlist, is very deliberate timing of how it all kind of goes, and the spirit I hope it invokes into me, the spirit I hope it invokes into my audience, and the spirit I hope to emulate. One of earnest. I just think Link is one of the most earnest characters in our collective conscience. And so yeah, after the play, I think is, let me think. I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna finally have to look to see what's next. Yeah, so next you make your friends, right? Korok Forest. And what comes later is Tari Town is next. And to me, that song has a lot of rhythm in it. It's I think it's kind of like a working town that you're kind of building, and it's like being developed. So you kind of go into the unknown, you make new friends, and you develop with them, I think. You kind of get busy. So that's what that kind of song, that spirit that's invoked there, is one of camaraderie and being busy with each other and accomplishing what's in your head and to the world. And if you can make a new home, build a new home. And maybe home isn't the right word, but you can build something, right? It's not really in my story I'm making, it's not the home that you're building, it's kind of that, the forming of the gang. Maybe it's more of what I'm thinking of when, Luke and Han Solo and Chewie and Princess Leia, they all kind of form a gang, That's more of why I placed that song there, was them sharing in a vision together of what to do. So it's like building a sense of camaraderie, building something that you went out into the world, had your adventure, and had some self-discovery, and found like-minded or similarly gold people that match with you. And so that's why I picked that song there. And then next I played my favorite song in the Ocarina of Time, Rito Village. Which is while you start building and doing these things, well, you can't always be with your comrades. You still have a home back home. There's a place that you left too, right? And well, how do you incorporate yourself in the two different worlds? Your ordinary world and your new world that you carved. Well, they have to blend somehow, and to me, Rito Village is that perfect emotional highs and lows of introspection, and I think it's a song of solitude, a song of it's not a song of regret. It's kind of a song of being lonely, maybe. I don't know if lonely is the right word. I think solitude is a better description of it. Loftiness. You're up in the air in Rito Village. There's a sense of maybe lofty goals, and maybe there's, I don't know if doubt is the feeling you get. I don't know if mourning is the feeling you get in that song. It's just this a rich feeling of like touching your soul, and I don't think it's asking like, is this good enough? Maybe that's what it is though. But something like, good enough, is this it? Did I accomplish what I set out to do? And so that's what Rito Village maybe does for me, I guess. It's like it lets me search for my feelings. There's a lot of room in the song, but then there's, payoff. So this is Zora's Domain. This is the last song. We just played the nostalgic Epona song. That's The Ride Home. This is Zora's Domain. But before we explain Zora's Domain, let's continue on with the story I was painting. So Rito Village, you've built something outside of your ordinary world. And I don't know if you have doubts, but you have a reflection. Maybe it's just a solitude reflection is maybe how I want to name that song, and why I selected it there. After that is House Theme. And to me, that's like you've reflected and you're in a comfortable house, but there's just a little dissonance in it. Like this new thing that you've built, there's, I don't know if doubt, it's not doubt, it's kind of like not quite comfortable though. There's a little bit of tension. When I thought of it and I just wrote it down, I wrote that it's like you're putting a baby to sleep and the baby's struggling to kind of stay up. And so it's just like kind of rocking the baby to the song, and maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's why I picked it. I don't even fully understand myself sometimes, but I might have picked it because it's realizing that whatever you're building is going to grow into, and so it's just, you've produced the result that you set out to do, maybe, and you've reflected upon it in Rito Village, and now with that song it asks you to accept letting it grow, maybe. That you got this living thing now it's not you, it's something else. And it's got a will of its own. It's got a spirit of its own. and you're the proper steward of it, but you're a steward. You're not the you don't force plants to grow. They grow on their own. You just tend to them, right? So sometimes these things are going to grow outside of your capabilities, even, right? Kind of put yourself. And so yeah, that's what house theme is to me, and that kind of blends into the next songs. So the next song is the one that got copyrighted. I think it was a false accusation. I think there's always scammers and stuff that are gonna make claims to own songs they don't own, and then hope that you don't follow up on it or something. And so the song is Medina's Lament, and I haven't played it for a day, or I don't know, like a little bit of time, and I have to rethink of what it makes me feel. It kind of is like it's sense of like payment, sacrifice. You know, I kind of said that earlier about a different song though, so maybe I should evaluate again why I picked the songs and see if they give me the feelings that I had written down that day, and understand if that's actually what I feel or if that's just what the story I came up with on the day. And maybe it's good that the song got copyright and it broke the spell that I was in, and maybe I should pick maybe there's a stronger song out there for me. And you know, there really is one that I want to maybe put in, and that's the Song of Healing from Majora's Mask. It's kind of, I think, what I'm gonna replace that song with, and it just directly says it in the name, kind of, you know, Song of Healing. And it's not exactly healing though. That game is very mature to me. Majora's Mask, that is. Kind of you're out of the forest and you're into the adult world of blocks and towns, and there's a crisis going on and everyone's ignoring it, and the moon is falling down. And it's a tale about an outsider, the Skull Kid. And I think it's a reflection of what happens when you don't let the outsider in, kind of, to a certain extent. If you create too many outsiders, well, they'll burn the village, type of thing. It's kind of my thought on it. So, and so the Song of Healing is kind of his Song of Healing. So it's a little bit more complex than just healing, right? There's some loneliness and some, yeah, like dread and melancholy almost. I don't know. That's what that song echoes to me. And maybe I'll put that in instead of the one that keeps getting a copyright on it, even though it's not. Someone's trying to scam and give me issue, and well, I'm gonna contest it, but I'm not gonna play that song until I get the results back, and instead I can pick another song. And it can be a necessary step of asking me to reflect on why that was copied out the state and world that we're living in, and if I can find a better story, a better song to tell, and changing up the song might have been the appropriate move. The next song on the list was Sage Larto, which is a song that called to me, and it kind of is this mournful knowing, this return to a mentor, that hey, maybe you were right. This I'd painted the story right of when you're giving life to this new thing in this journey, there's something that's going to grow beyond you. It's going to be out of your control. And maybe your criticisms of those that had come before you, maybe you kind of understand them a little bit more at that stage in the hero's journey. That, yeah, those that came before me were not perfect, but now that I've tried to do something and it grew beyond my full capacity and my full responsibility, maybe I don't have to hold those that came before me to the standard that I did when I was a kid. And then the next song is Fee's Gratitude, which is, I think Fee is the spirit of the Master Sword in Skyward Sword. And it's a song about grace, I think, and the emotional climax of the story of throwing the ring into the fire, the right to return changed with new understanding, deeper understanding, that you're no longer the kid, that you've gone on a journey, you'd adventured, and now you understand things a little differently. You've forever changed, and it's ready to come back. And then that leads into Epona's song. That's the horse in Zelda, and it's a very nostalgic song, and it's the return home is the obvious pick. It's nostalgic, it's comfortable, it evokes the image of a horse because that's the name of the song, and I think it's in the song too, but maybe I'm projecting my ideas of what I have into the feeling in the song too, but I think that's all part of it anyways. And then that leads to Zora's Domain, which is this song, which is the Spade song. The world of water, the world of healing, the ebb and flow, the gentle bath after the journey, maybe. Started in the ordinary world, you had a dream, you went on an adventure, you met people along the way, gone through conflict, you grew, you learned, you had doubts, you had all these things along the way, and you're different, but you returned home now. You had your ride home, your Frodo coming back to the Shire, changed. And, so Frodo leaves. But he's no longer on the journey. But he can't go back to who he was before the journey. But he still returns to the ordinary world. He's no longer in Mordor. He's no longer thinking about orcs, danger, and Gollum, and conflict. He's earned his adventurous. He can quiet the calls to adventure, growth, as he had the capacity to march when he lost all despair, or fell into despair. He took on more than you could ask anyone. Did it nobly, and it forever changed him. And he deserves his Zora's domain, his mastery of the adventure, mastery of the comfort. And so that's the name of my channel, is Courageous Comfort. And that's the way I see the world, is through that hero's journey sometimes. And that's why I picked the songs I picked. And all that knowledge I just had is the reason why I started this channel, is that I'm enacting it out into my own life to a certain extent. And I don't wish to go through the refusal of the call. I want to venture out a little bit, grow. I've had my own few hero journeys. I don't think you just have one in life. There might be just one overarching one maybe, but every day, every breath, every moment feels like a little hero's journey sometimes. Not that it's difficult, but more just that it's I feel like it's just the natural ebb and flow of comfort, moving beyond comfort, learning from that discomfort, and returning back to comfort. And a different way of saying that is the proper balance between risk and security. That you become secure, you go on for a risk. And sometimes the risk is forced upon you too, but I believe that these stories and such were all became popular for a reason, and I just think that they're true to the human spirit. Oh look, my cat grew up. Very nice. So he went on his little hero's journey as a little kitten, and now he's a full-grown cat that is going to reward me with 200 death runes. So we'll go off on a little diversion, go and do that. We'll come back for the last 10 or so minutes of the stream. Let's go pick him up. Yep. Let's go to Ardone. I think this way's quicker, or am I crazy? I think he has come up here. purple dye. Well, I'll be passing this point many times, but let's just pick it up. We might need it. I'm not sure if you... I don't think that's one of the colors for Goblin Diplomacy, but there might be a purpose for them. Maybe I should go get a cape. No, we have our Dome Cloak. We're going to have our Graceful Cape. We're going to have our Avis device. And we'll eventually get other capes along the way. There we go, 200 death runes. We're at 50 marks of grace. I think the chest is 55 and the legs are 60. That's kind of the target of our next purchases. We could stop off for a cape and a hood. I think those are maybe 40 each would be my guess. Could be mistaken. And that would be 80 points. But we also have this amylase pack, which we could trade for a mark of grace. And so right now we could have the legs or the top, but I want to go and get them together. Maybe next stream we'll get another 50 or so marks of grace, maybe 60, and we will fully dress up. So let's return back to Varrock. Go get another cat. Maybe we stop off at the bank for a second. Get rid of the excess. Trying to see what has weight. Yeah, this camo top. Too much weight. It was a new upgrade. You know what I mean. I don't know where to put this. Oh shoot. This goes in here. And we'll just put this in here. I think it's a good... This is my random tab. This is my teleporting, adventuring, and magic. This is my combat gear. It will eventually have my magic gear, but that's going to be different than this stuff in here. It's going to be powered staves and armor, whereas this is just going to be the weapons. Staffs, I mean, but not the powered staffs. Because these ones have multiple roles, and by the time you have actual armor, you're going to have different combat staves, not elemental ones. So they always will stay in here. And everything else should just fall... Oh, I guess we never got a ruby. We only have cut ruby. This is our food and potion tab. This is our tools tab. This is our resource tab. Things that need to be processed, basically, and used. So we can place, what are we trying to put this? Ruby in here, right next to these ones. Oops, insert. Let's go ahead and move this silk up to here so that I remember that I have it and we can go sell it. Although maybe we should put it here. Yeah, that's a better idea. I'll put it here in the case that we actually need it for a quest or something that I'm unfamiliar with. We can just use that silk. So that's your resources. This is kind of the farming and herb lore tab. I think it's going to grow, and we'll figure out if some of these things belong in different spots, if they're useless or not. But they're here. Jangerberries, I think, maybe go in here, but who knows if we're actually going to use it as prayer or not. This is our outfits and stuff. I put water skins here because if I have water skins, they're going to be next to my desert robes. And this is just the random stuff. I don't know if I need this bread or not, but let's put that here. Makes more sense, yeah. Okay, let's make our way to Falador, but along the way, we'll stop and get a cat. Here, Miss Gertrude. It's my girl. She gave me a cake. She made me some stew. Alright, we have a white cat. Very nice. And now he's gone. Oh, now he's back. So I had made a little bit of art with the AI generator, and it's on my Kick page. It's me in full graceful and a lantern. Kind of guiding the way, and I have a white cat with me. And so I think we might get more and more cats, and eventually maybe my last cat I'll make a white cat. We'll keep going until I get a white one. To serve as my little spirit animal of the account. He's a reminder of play. Little kitten. That I might be too serious sometimes, take things a little too much deliberate, being too deliberate, being too discerning, being too planning, trying to perfect before I do things. I think instead we should present as we are and welcome the spirit of play. And so this cat is kind of maybe a representative of that. Attention! Is he gonna come here? Let's go and do it. I want to unlock all of the little outfits and such and see if I can start getting lamps from all of them or not. I do have more coffee, but we're near the end of the stream. I'm starting to get a little tired. I'm tired. All right. And camel bottoms. Let's see what we look like. Is this our next chapter? I think we might just make it. Let's stop at the bank and see if we can, before we go and get our full graceful, if we can channel some militaristic discipline. Rock our camo. Let's see what the, my stream is ending in a few minutes. Let's see if we want to change our look for the next one or not. that we kind of graduated from being a wanderer with this whatever gear we could kind of put together. We put on our graceful boots and graceful gloves and became a little bit more deliberate. And we're in the full belly of the grind. And maybe we've earned our camo. Just grab all the outfit stuff and see if we can, if we like anything. And so yeah, maybe we'll film with camo next. Or maybe we do the camo bottoms with a more earthy top. That we're an adventurer. With some discipline, with some grace. Yeah, I think that's our, that'll be our look. We have 8 kilograms of weight on us. Let's go ahead and put that away, put that away. And where does that put us? 3 kilograms. So do we need the hat? That's maybe the question. And I don't think we do. I think this is closer to how I want to look. Maybe we'll do one more lap before we end the stream. I'll wait until the song changes. So yeah, we're coming near the end of episode probably 7 of my live streaming adventure as a new Ironman account. We've chosen to wander but not be lost. We're picking paths, but trying not to stay too much on the meta. We've started our adventure, but we're still in the early game. We might have gone to the wilderness briefly, but that will soon be my home. But before we do that, we have a little bit of work to do. We're using our discernment to make good choices. Choices that are going to benefit the count in the long run, benefit me on the grind now. Making trade-offs that we're comfortable making. And slowly we're going to fail out loud. That's the name of the RuneScape account. This is nested into my new online persona I've taken upon myself. Courageous Comfort. My brand, my identity. I guess what I'm building my ego upon, right? And while I'm kind of doing it, trying to capture the essence of the hero's journey, because I believe that to be the proper way to live life, is to have adventure, to have comfort, to learn, to grow, take challenges. Because courage without comfort, I think, is bravado. And comfort without courage, I think, is weakness. I think it's being spoiled. I think it's, you know, something that you can't maintain. And so that's who I am, where I'm at, who I am, why I am. And these are the choices I've made. And so at this point, I've chosen to have the discipline of military. I've chosen to fly. Do. Jagex. What's up with your game, man? Oh. Goodbye, everyone.